to the Hannah's Knit Cottage podcast. I'm Hannah.
I'm Michelle.
You can find us on Instagram. I'm Hannah's Knit Cottage on Instagram and Hannah072 on Ravelry.
I'm woolmarketfibers.com. I'm Southern Comfort KC on Ravelry. And that's all I can remember right
and
now.
And Wool Market Fibers on Instagram too.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
and
that's
Facebook.
Right. And Facebook, yes. Mm-hmm.
So it is February 27th. I am off on spring break.
Yay.
So we are
Good
here.
to see you. I haven't seen you for
Yes.
I know.
Forever. So Michelle hasn't seen anything that I'm going to show today.
No, I haven't.
She hasn't. This is the only thing she's seen.
And I'm jealous because she's already done, which I already knew you would be because that's just how you knit.
Well, life has happened a lot and knitting has been great. So Broadway show is over for this school year. It was a great show, had a good run, glad to have some rest. So we are here to update you on our progress and share our random ramblings with the world.
Yes.
So first up, pause. We hit 100 subscribers.
Yay.
Thanks, y'all.
Thank you, everybody. Wonderful.
So what we're gonna do is a little giveaway. So you have 2 weeks from today. So I should have looked at the calendar before I did this. So today is February 27th. So if you comment by March 13th, I'll pull probably like the 14th or the 15th. If you'd like to enter, we are going to do, you may get a Wool Market Fiber scan of your choice for 100 subscribers. So if you would like to be entered to win a skein of Wool Market Fibers yarn, all you have to do is comment down below. Say hello to us. Say hi. If you are not of the knitting kind and do not need yarn, I'm sure you know a yarn friend who would love it. So,
and that could be a worsted weight, a DK weight. It could be from the sock wall if you're into minis. So
anyway, so yes, all you have to do is comment down below, say hi to us. I try to respond to everybody, or at least like every comment and make sure I read all of them. We appreciate your comments and subscribing over. This has been basically a little over a year. So
has it been a year already?
We rolled a year in January.
Oh Lord.
And I wanted to do something for the 1 year. So I guess it worked out good that we hit 100 subscribers kind of right after.
Yeah.
We were in the thick of the Broadway show. So
How was it?
It was good. It was good. Had a good turnout. Great cast. A lot of them will be graduating this year. So it's going to be interesting to see what new kids kind of come up. But a lot of them, the first show, they were freshmen. And now this show, they're seniors. So I've been with them this whole time. So it's been really special.
How sad for you because now they're leaving and they're grown up and they get a whole new set.
But it's kind of cool because the student who played the lead role was actually one of my former students when I first started at my school.
Oh, okay.
As an elementary teacher.
Wow.
So
you watched him grow up.
Yeah.
Oh.
So it was really special. Anyway, so on to the knitting. Make sure to comment down below to enter to win the Wool Market Fibers yarn. First, I'm going to put a picture on the screen. I finished my Wicked Witch socks and I wore them for the show. So I started those on January 23rd of this year and I finished them on February 9th. And for context, the show opened on February 14th. So I cut it pretty close this year. Okay. But I also got 2 pairs done. So
now, we already saw the Yellow Brick Road socks. We didn't get to see all of the ruby slipper. You have them?
Yes, I don't have them with me. I'm going to put a picture on the screen.
Okay. So
they're a little worn in already, so they're not.
What did you think about the construction of that pattern?
Okay. So, I have an airplane.
It's not.
If I'm filming one place, it's roosters, but when we hear it's airplanes, like everybody wants to be on the podcast. So, I used Stephen West Mo Mod pattern and I used Cascade Heritage 220, I think.
I think you did.
They're fingering weight, they're standard Cascade fingering weight yarn in red, white, and black. At first, I remember telling Michelle that I was having to be really careful with how I picked up stitches when I joined. So basically you knit the whole top of the sock, you do normal, and then you get to the heel, and he has you do the top of the foot first, and he has you go do the heel, and then the top of the foot, and then the bottom of the foot. I knew that I was going to be using the same yarn color for the heel and the foot, and that I was going to be striping 2 colors for the top of the foot. So rather than have 3 balls of yarn attached at the same time, I ended up doing the top of the foot first so I could alternate those 2 yarns and carry them down the side, and then I went back and did the heel and then did the bottom of the foot. I don't know how much that affected the overall integrity of the sock. I was surprised when I wore them. I thought I was going to get really bad gaping in all the spots because I could see where there's some points of weakness, but they actually wore really well. I was surprised. And I will say that the first sock I did, I tried to pick up stitches the way he had listed it in the pattern, and I don't know if I was not doing it right because I definitely had a hard time understanding what he wanted in the pattern.
And it's unfortunate. I asked him specifically about if there was a tutorial for that, and he said no.
I'm guessing because neither one of us have done the Color Opportunity socks, and they have a similar construction in some regards. So I'm guessing if you watched that video, it probably contains it.
Okay.
Which would have been nice to reference.
I have a thought about, because it's basically intarsia knitting.
Yeah.
You have to pick up because you've already done part of say you've done the instep and then you have to come back and do the bottom. That's going to lead into what I've been working on.
Okay. Come back to that.
Okay.
1 second. So what I did to make sure it was good, I don't know if you do this on all my socks, I never do a slip knit. I always do knit 2 together.
Right.
Because over time, slip knit tends to fan out, I guess. It doesn't hold as well. So on one side, he was having you do a slip knit, I believe. I changed all of that to a knit 2 together through the back loop.
Yes.
And that tightened everything up and it was fine.
Yes.
It was perfectly, the construction was fine. So one sock where I'd started with a slip knit and changed, I ended up reinforcing that spot, but it was only maybe like 3 or 4 stitches down because I only did it for a couple rows. And I was like, okay, wait. So theoretically, by the book, textbook knitting, we should do a slip knit to make sure our decrease leans the right way. But however, when we want our socks to wear good the whole time, we just do a knit 2 together through the back loop.
Right. But since they're going to be in your shoes, nobody's going to see it. So
exactly, I'd much rather
aesthetically, you want the decreases to match.
Right.
But
and like, so if it was a sweater, then
yes,
you
could do a knit 2 together through the back loop because it's still going to lean opposite as a 2 together.
Yeah.
Because I use it all the time.
Right.
Depending on what I'm doing.
But, so that was my one hesitation with the pattern, and I was very gentle with them at first. When I wore them, I was very like, I don't know about this.
Yeah.
And they held up very well. They actually, the Yellow Brick Road socks did really good too. That Wool Market Fibers Lemon Meringue did great.
Yeah, that's good.
But it held up really well. I was thoroughly surprised and grateful.
Good.
So I actually think I don't think they'll be my most hard wearing pair, and I don't think that's because of Stephen West. I think that's because the Cascade Heritage, to me, I find it's very, very soft and thin.
Yes.
So I don't see those socks holding up long
before.
term.
I've used those before.
So, but they're a good rotation for a fun little snazzy pair to pull out every now and then. So
they are cute.
So yeah, some hesitation on the pattern, but I think I wouldn't say this should not be your first sock. It shouldn't be your first sock.
Because it does involve all sorts of things that really you should be trying in other avenues first.
Yes. And maybe the Color Opportunity socks might be a good in between. I probably should have done those before I did these, but I survived. The socks turned out okay.
That is I think the Color Opportunities on our to-do list somewhere around along the line this year for socks. So
yes, our massive stash of Stephen West sock patterns that we haven't knit yet.
Yes, massive stash.
Yes. So, okay. Do you want to share something, or you want me to go ahead?
Okay, so since we were on that subject, this is what I have been working on.
All right, what you got here?
This is Stitch Surfers.
Ooh.
And I've got the heel in. And this is intarsia knitting, forwards and backwards. So
you're doing this in the round intarsia.
Yeah, and then you get to the end, and you turn and purl a full round in both colors.
Okay. I'm just gonna take her word for it, because like,
this is my 4th pair of Stitch Surfers.
that would be a great way to use scrap yarn up.
It is, but remember when you were saying that Stephen West has you pick up and join? This is done while you're knitting in the round.
Interesting.
Yes, I will show you how to do that. It's I like it.
I don't know if that would have worked for mine, because I would have had 3 balls of yarn going at once, and that would have been insanity.
And yeah, for yours because of the striping that you did. But
Right.
if you're only using 2 colors, I think this would work.
Mm-hmm.
The concept of this would work a lot better than you having to pick up
And then
and coming back.
Who is Stitch Surfers by?
This is Louise Roberts from Biscotti Yarn.
Okay, and what yarn?
It's all wool market fibers. And this never had color names. And he had only done one of this color and then one of this color. And I waited and waited and waited, and he never made any more. So I stole him.
I'm like, this
And
color,
now-
I'm living for this color here.
I do too.
This
I
like
love it.
paprika kind of color?
Yeah. So I went to him a couple of weeks ago, and I asked him, do you remember what you did to get these colors? And he said, yeah, I think so. So he went out and he started dyeing minis to get these colors. And I think he's got it, and he did write it down. So once he takes a break from the shows, because we're right in the middle of fiber festivals and quilt show. There's a quilt show coming up, and we're slammed. So I'm slammed making the project bags for the knitters and crocheters. I've got to do for the store and for the quilt, and I'm sorry, not quilt shows, the fiber festivals, for this upcoming show in Dixon, Tennessee. So we're going to be in Dixon, Tennessee again, and we're going to have the bags, and I'll
Which
show those
fiber
in a
fest
minute.
is that going to be?
I don't know the formal name of the fiber festival, but it's in Dixon, Tennessee.
Okay.
Middle Tennessee. I
Oh,
think
is it the
what-
Middle Tennessee
The
Fiber?
Middle Tennessee Fiber Fest,
Okay.
yes.
I've been researching Fiber Fest because I'm trying to convince, I don't know.
He likes the smaller ones.
Yeah.
They're more personable. He was at the show in Vicksburg.
Yes. That was just a couple weekends ago?
That was just this last weekend. So he's
Fiber fun in the sip.
yeah, and he likes them. He enjoys them. He's the one that does all of the shows. He does all of the quilt shows, all the gatherings. So we're right in the middle of it. So we've been inundated. So unfortunately, I've only got one finish.
That's okay. That's okay.
Of all these but I've made progress on all the other things that I've been working on that I really wanted to get done. But
I like
these were
those.
part of it.
I'm excited to see that colorway.
So this is,
More often.
yes, don't forget, Stitch Surfers. And if
Stitch
anybody
Surfers.
needs help, call me and I will walk you through the directions. Because they're quite easy, really, once you get the concept.
Ready for my other finish?
Your turn.
This is, so, okay, the Wicked Witch socks were bingo square number 4 that I finished for this year. This is bingo square number 5.
Yes, it is. Yes,
This
it
is. This is the Felix cardigan by Amy Christoffers, also known as Savory Knitting, and this is Noro.
That was the Christmas gift you got from.
Yes, from Miss Sherritt Knit Group. This,
It looks beautiful.
yes,
It looks
and it's
nice
freshly
fuzzy.
blocked, and there's still some ends. Don't judge me. But the lace work came out really cute.
Yes, it did.
I don't know if you can see
Now,
it.
what did
There
you
it
think
is.
of the
The
pattern?
raglan. I enjoyed the pattern. I'm not an experienced cardigan knitter, so I think when it came down to it, the things that I'm unsatisfied with about this are because I don't know how to shape all of this the way that I want.
Yeah.
I changed this band because I didn't want ribbing. So it's actually a knitted band and with an I-cord bind off.
Oh, okay.
So I just need to, I didn't have blocking mats or pins. I think if I pinned it and reblocked it, that would lay better.
Probably, or you can put grosgrain ribbon behind it to stabilize it.
Mm-hmm. And I think I'm going to put some elastic here to kind of help tuck this in. I probably could have gone down one more needle size. So this yarn, I think it's called Kotori. I'll have to put it in the description. It's a discontinued yarn. I like the colors. I do too. And I really was worried about this when I first knit it because it goes from basically like a worsted weight almost down to practically a lace weight with thick and thin.
Oh yeah.
So I've already repaired this twice in the knitting process as stitches dropped or broke. I don't know what happened.
The yarn, yeah.
Right. And that never happens to me. But when I blocked it, they evened out a lot. And this yarn has, I don't remember the exact percentages, but it is a mix of wool, cotton, and viscose. Mm-hmm. So I don't really work with cotton that much. So I knew it was probably going to grow more than I would anticipate. And it grew, y'all. It grew. It grew a lot. So, I tried to get it to grow lengthwise rather than widthwise. And I did modify the pattern. So this, I knit a size 3 width with a size 2 yoke depth. Could you imagine? Like, because it was supposed to be another 1.5 inches. Like, it would have been a sack on me. And that's just knowing your body measurements, I guess, and knowing how you're built and what you prefer. I started noticing the love note that became a flax that is now in timeout. That one I knit the yoke depth that the pattern had listed, but the yoke depth listed in the pattern was like 11 inches. And when I tried it on after I split for sleeves, I realized I didn't like that. Yeah. So I went and measured a sweater that I did like and a cardigan that I did like, and I figured out that basically my ideal yoke depth is somewhere between 9 and 9.5 inches. Which is significantly different than 11.
Yeah, by 2 inches.
Right, and that's, I mean, yardage, but also just comfort. Like, that I don't like having a bunch of, and you need some in a cardigan because you want to be able to pull it over
especially
stuff.
Clothes, yes. So you want it big enough, but not so big that it's, a full 2 sizes bigger.
Right. So I think now that I really went down and I measured a bunch of different, like I measured my full bust, my waist, and my hips. I measured the yoke depth that I like. I want to go back and measure like a collar depth that I like and really kind of get those numbers nailed in so I can modify whatever I'm knitting to make sure I'm going to like it.
Keep a notebook.
So this is my Felix cardigan. This I'm renaming because right now in Ravelry it's listed as Noro Felix cardigan, which how boring is that? So I've decided that this is definitely like, I don't see this being a piece I wear to work that much. It's just not, it doesn't have a professional vibe, but it does have a warm, cozy, nice
wear
vibe
around the house.
Right. And if anybody knows Cher, she knows that she always ends her text messages with big hugs from Cher. So this is going to be the big hugs cardi.
Nice.
That's what I'm going to call it because it's like a warm hug from a friend.
Exactly.
So I'm glad to have used this yarn that I was gifted, and then every time I wear it, I'm going to think of her. Exactly. So we'll see if she watches the podcast and figures out. If not, we'll tell her eventually.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are my 2 finishes. So that's 5 bingo squares done in 2 months.
Good job. Good job.
The next 2 on the way. You want to go next or you want me to go next?
This is it's called the Mesa Cowl. I haven't worked on this for a while, but I'm more than halfway through it. This is all Malabrigo.
Pretty.
And it's color work. Knits and pearls.
Short rows?
Nope. No short rows.
Oh.
Decreases and increases. That's all this is.
Wow.
And I fell in love with it when the pattern first came out, and I went and bought some Malabrigo and cast on, and this is where I am.
Who's the pattern by?
I have it somewhere.
I can look it up too if I need to.
No, I had it up. I just forgot the lady's name.
I want to take this pause to just mention that I've known Michelle for how many years now, and she still comes out with whips that I've never seen before. And they're not new cast ones.
No, they're not. No, they're not. Sorry, but I can't help it. Woolly Hooligan. Hooligan. Woolly Hooligan. But that's, yeah.
Ooh, okay. I'm gonna put the picture up on the screen. It's very
really
beautiful.
pretty.
Yeah.
Definitely. So this one is what I'm showing are the things that I want to get done. So I'm purposely keeping them out, and I'll work on something for, a day here at work, and then, something else the next day in between the bag making. That has taken up a lot of time. Your turn.
Okay. So in between last podcast and this podcast, I did a thing. Michelle's aware of this thing. I lost self-control. And I was like, hey, I've got to knit the halibut. And I haven't shown her my progress. My goal was to come in here and have the whole halibut done. Like the actual colorwork chart. That did not happen. But this is my halibut. This is by Caitlin Hunter, also known as Boyland Knitworks. And you can see the beginnings of the fishy.
I love the colors together.
Me too. I'd always pictured my halibut being blue and white, but I knit the halibut cowl a couple years ago and I did it in blue and white. And I was like, I don't really want to do the same thing again. Like some people do, and that's fine. I just didn't want to. So I do wear this color a lot, so I figured this was a good start.
Yes.
Or a good palette for me. So that's just a little motif, and then this is the start of the actual fish. You can see his tail, and this is showing up really true to color on camera, but also really vibrant.
Definitely.
So,
and it's soft for.
Yes.
It's Patagonia organic wool by Juniper Moon Farm. It's 100% wool.
It should show up correct.
It's a DK weight.
Yeah.
And it
382 yards per 100 grams.
It's soft for being 100%.
That's a lot of yardage for 100 grams of DK. It is very fluffy. Like it's, to me, like you would think a DK weight sweater like this, especially colorwork holding 2 strands together, would be very heavy, but it's not heavy. No,
and when you go to block it, it should bloom.
Also,
so that'll make it nice.
Be impressed. I'm not showing this on camera because this is pattern, but you should be impressed. I'm using a paper pattern. So I got.
So you can take it with you?
No, not even that.
Oh,
I was
okay.
noticing trying to look at my iPad for that long, especially in the middle. I started this in the middle of Broadway. Like everybody who worked backstage with me knows that the halibut exists on the Broadway team, because I was drooling over this sweater, and
she was having a bad day, so I ordered the yarn for her, and it came in.
It came in at perfect time.
Yes.
It was wonderful. So then I immediately cast this on and was like, okay. And I sped myself to get to the colorwork chart, and my goal was to get through the whole colorwork chart before we filmed the podcast, so I could be like, I have a whole halibut. But I will say that this pattern has really forced me to slow down and to be intentional with my knitting. Yes. And just to take each stitch at a time. And that's been really good for me. I think that's truthfully more of what I've needed, because it's been go, go, go with everything lately. Just in the push to spring break. And I know when we come back from spring break, there's a lot of things that are going to happen as we kind of push into the end of the school year. So having something
that intentionally, I told you, knitting teaches patience.
But I'm thoroughly enjoying it, and I can't do it for very long. I've been having a little bit of elbow pain. Yeah.
For me in color work, I can sit and do it, but I can't do it for a long time.
No, but I can do maybe 5-6 rows a day, and just doing that, I mean, I think, and I don't think this is giving too much away, I think the colorwork chart is like 64 rounds. So like 5-6 rounds a day. Yeah. I'll get it done in a couple weeks. I'm not worried about it. Also floats. Look at these floats. Aren't they great? When you can see the whole motif in the floats, it means you've got it right. Yeah. And that one, I think my finger snagged, but look at that. You can see his little tail in the floats. So that is my halibut by Caitlin Hunter. I am very excited to have this sweater. I have drooled over this pattern, but the reason I cast it on is because there is a channel called Knitting Up North with Jenn and Corrina. They're in Bemidji, Minnesota, up like way up yonder up north, where they do like ice fishing and stuff.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So of course, like this is great for them because they need like those thick woolly sweaters. We don't so much, but I just wanted it really bad. So when I saw they're doing a knit along, they're like, hey, is anybody interested? I'm like, me, I'm interested. And then they didn't say anything about it. And then the second after, like right after Christmas, they're like, oh yeah, we're doing the knit along through March 31st. I was like, oh no, I have my bingo board. This isn't on the bingo board. What have I done? So my husband relented. He understood how much I've been through. Like I knit the cowl and then I knit the alpine bloom, all with the intention of getting to this halibut. So
here you are.
Here I am. So I have till March 31st to finish the sweater. So it does have a deadline, but I think with me being on spring break, we have a 2-week spring break. So I'm off this week and next week. So I've done pretty much all of this on spring break. I think I'd done like maybe like that much before I went on break.
I think once you get the sleeves split, then I think you can just power it out.
Right, and I think that's what I'm gonna do is next week is still the first week of March, so I'll still have like 3 more weeks.
Yeah.
So if I can get the color work done by the end of next week, theoretically, she says.
Well, if you do 8 to 10 rows a day, you can be done with that in less than.
Well, and I don't
know how far you are right now.
Let me pull up my paper pattern.
So if you do 10 rows a day.
So I've done 24 out of the 64, so I literally have 40 rounds left of color work.
Okay,
so if I do even
10 a day, you could be done with the color work portion in 4 days.
I think probably like 6 rows a day is probably my max.
Okay.
Just based off of, because I end up holding one yarn in both hands. So this hand actually gets tired, which is weird because I'm right hand dominant. But it's a different technique that I haven't done in a while.
Moving it, not just your hands. You're actually having to do it.
So, but still, that means within the next week it'll be done. And then I have 3 weeks. I can do sleeves 1 week and then do the body the next 2 weeks. And I think I'll be good. And the collar's already done. I think I'll have to do elastic. But the hashtag for this is Knit the Halibut with Jenn and Corrina on Instagram. I think they have a Ravelry group. I just wanted to knit the sweater and there was knit along, so it was a good excuse. So
that leads into this.
What did you do?
This is a long time. This is a long time. Another whip, sorry. I have a ton of them.
Again.
Okay.
It's like Fort Knox. How many does she have? How many? We don't know.
As much as the gold hole being held in Fort Knox. The backstory to this hat is I was home in Colorado and I was taking care of my dad when he was in hospice. I was working on a Shetland Kep. And I've always wanted to knit one. It's all Fair Isle knitting in an online Facebook group, specifically for an Anne Sinclair pattern. I picked out the body motifs of what I wanted for my hat. And I'm back home in Colorado at the time. I had this stuff with me and I'm knitting the hat. And I got to the end of it and Dad fell in love with it. And he thought it was for him. Aww. And I did not have the heart to tell him no. So I let him wear it. He looked so cute. We had a whole pile of pictures of him and stuff. And he looked so good in it. So I ordered more yarn to make another hat. And I'm back in Colorado and I'm working on this hat the whole time I was there. And here's the hat.
Look at that.
It's all color work.
It's beautiful. You've got to be close too.
I'm actually, I pulled this out the day before yesterday. Now, when I pulled this out, I was this far into the hat. So I've put this back in it. So it has the hearts, it has the main motif, and now the hearts. And that portion's done. So I got those done the other day, and now I'm working on the crown. The pattern does not give you a color work crown pattern. So if you want to go by the pattern itself, it's just plain decreasing at the top end with their little, patterns. Or you could find a crown that will fit the stitch count for the hat, which I did. And it turns out it was in the same colors as the colors I'm already working.
Ah.
It is double lined.
Wow. Look at those floats. Okay, let's pause. Moment for the floats here. Is that not perfect?
Yeah.
She puts mine to shame.
Well, I purposely, when you're doing color work, you have to knit loose.
Yes.
But not so loose that it's sloppy looking. But
what yarn is this?
This is Knit Picks Palette. It is a 2-ply Peruvian wool in 150 colors.
Knit Picks Palette is actually like low-key a workhorse yarn.
It is. I've used this. Now I've done, let's see, I did the original hat that has owls in it because I'm an owl lover. So that hat, this one, I did one specifically for Dad, and he got to pick out the colors. And then he got to pick out the motifs. But unfortunately, as I was working on it, Dad passed away and never got to see it finished. So I have that back. And it's been in the shop a few times, hung up. Doug got one, and here I am, still trying to get one finished for me.
Okay, you got to get that one done because
so
you're on the crown decreases.
Yeah. So this one's almost done. Dad's hat, the one that he picked out with the colors that he wanted, that was done with Pippin and Jameson Smith. Okay. It's a 4-ply fingering weight. It's a lot stickier than the palette. And we're saying rougher to work with.
We're saying stickier. We're talking about like wool naturally. Is it the lanolin content?
It's the lanolin content in the wool. It makes it, and it's purposely there for warmth. And when you're doing color work, if you drop a stitch, it's not going anywhere. It's not going to fall down like you put a run in your stocking. Or if you're using slickery yarns where it starts running and it just keeps going.
So lanolin is like a natural oil that would be in the wool, and it helps take care of the sheep. But when we're using the wool, it can help the wool be stickier. It can make it rougher, and some people don't like using it because they don't like that on their hands.
Itchiness. It feels itchy to them, and it's the point of having it though is for the warmth.
Right.
It repels moisture a lot better than some of the other super washes that are chemically treated so that you could wash it.
So like wool that would have wool that would have lanolin content is non-superwash. It hasn't been treated. It's a much more natural state of wool versus superwash yarn, which would be like Knit Picks Palette may not be a superwash.
It's a Peruvian. It's not superwash.
Okay. So the superwash has been chemically treated.
Kind of like Cascade superwash. If it says superwash in the label, it's been treated so that you could, so that it becomes softer, but it's also so that you could wash it. That doesn't mean you can wash it in hot water. No. It's still wool. You want to wash it in cold water. You still have to wash it on a delicate cycle, and I never recommend drying it.
No.
Period.
I always even hand wash mine still.
I
do put them in the spin cycle though. In the washing machine, I put them in the spin cycle to get the water out.
You put it in a salad thingy.
Well, maybe, but I'm getting quite a collection of socks where it's like I need a washing machine to like handle the amount of socks that I'm drying.
I hand wash my socks like old fashioned days, and I roll it in a towel and get the moisture out, and then hang them up, and we're good. We're done.
This cardigan I hand washed in a sink, and then I put it in the spin cycle. When it came out of the spin cycle, it was almost already dry. Wow. And it was dry last night. I was wearing this last night. Did that make me finish weaving in the ends last night? Nope. I did do some this morning. So there was like one hanging out here, one here. So
get the obvious ones gone. So there's this hat. This will
I
be
love
done
that.
this will be done. It would have already been done, but I was working on those projects way over there. And while you're talking, I'll go get them.
Okay. Do you want me to go over the big one or the little one?
It's up to you. I still have to leave. I still have to leave the camera.
Okay,
so I don't
I'm
care.
gonna do the big one because you've seen this one before.
Okay.
So this is bingo square number 6 in progress. So I need to post like an update like bingo board like here right now while Michelle's out of the frame. You can see, if you notice my bingo board, there's kind of a line emerging here. So there's 2 projects left in that row to get the bingo. So guess what I'm doing? Going for the bingo. So do you know what this one is?
No.
Do you know what it is now?
Oh, yay.
This is my Instant Crush by Hohi Locatelli.
Woo.
I've gotten it where now I am ready to start the color work. So, oops, it's this way. I will say I'm enjoying working with the yarn. Sometimes I'm like, you're gonna be able to see through this, and then you take a step back and like right here in this view, you would think, okay, maybe I could see through it, but really can't before I rip it off. Okay, so this is what I've got. It's literally a giant fuzzball, and we love it dearly.
Keep talking.
So these are the colors. Do you want to hold this one?
I just want to hold the yarn.
I know, it is just
It's
okay.
So
And this is
squishy.
so today while I'm here for knit group, we get to decide what order we're gonna put these in.
Oh, goody.
Okay, color.
I like public opinions.
Dun, 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 dun. I'm just the fluff that is flying right now. I am so excited.
Oh.
So these are my colors. This is by far going to be the bougiest sweater I ever owned in my life. We know this. But I'm very excited.
This is the Surrey.
Yes. It's Wool Market Fibers DK Weight Surrey.
Mm-hmm.
And you just want to like
Dyed specifically for Hannah.
This was a custom order.
Yes, it was.
But you can see we kind of, this is coming out more white, but it's actually gray. So we have,
this is like a platinum gray.
and this is darker gray. So you kind of, and then you have, this is just like the natural, I think.
Yeah, that's the end.
And then
the pink.
So
That nice. It's not really a blush pink, but it's not in your face bright.
it's like somewhere between purple and pink, honestly.
It's kind of a blush pink. It's a
Yeah.
nice soft neutral pink. It is very much going to be a beautiful addition to this sweater.
I'm excited. And I think too, like once, because you can see them all like this, but the second you put them together, and then because they're fuzzy too, I'm curious to see how they're all going to work up. I think it's going to be very interesting.
Yeah.
So my goal is
now don't forget, do your color work. I got it.
okay. Sorry, it's not you. It's I've been through some rough times.
You're fine. I got it. There. Where's your point protectors?
Somewhere.
Because I seriously don't want to.
I'm gonna, yeah, it's fine because she's gonna get knitted on today. So my goal is I'll probably do a little bit on this today just to get the colors established of what's what.
Yeah.
But and I have more balls of all of this yarn. So
Yeah,
it's not just one ball of each. But
it'll be a crop top.
no. Well, and I love that because it is a full colorwork sweater. Hohi Locatelli gives you extra rounds, like a ton of extra rounds. So if you didn't want to make yours as cropped as hers, I'm going to handle this later. Sorry for the rustling, y'all. I'm like doubly trying to make sure nothing gets to the Surrey. Like nothing shall mess with my Surrey. Especially when you have a tiny dog that likes to rip things.
Mine just likes to plop in my lap no matter what I'm working on.
Well, that's what mine does. And
She's
her
like,
claws
"Look
are
at me, Mom."
sharp and
Yeah.
she'll snag stuff so quickly. So, but yeah, Hohi Locatelli gives you a ton of extra repeats, or not repeats even. She gives you a ton of extra charting on the color work. So depending on your body type and how you're built, you know, you might need a longer arm, longer torso. So she gives you a lot of room for that.
That's good.
The wording has been a little interesting on the pattern. I won't say it's the clearest pattern I've ever read, But after like evaluating a little bit, I'm like, okay, I think I got it. We're good. But there's definitely, I feel like if this was your first sweater, maybe not. Maybe not this one. It's not bad. It's just the way the color work is, the way the color work does, it has like, basically it has like increase on each side and then like an 8 stitch repeat. So you have to read between the lines of, okay, when I get to a marker, so I slip the marker, I do the first little set, then I repeat the 8 until I have this many stitches left, and then do that, and then go back again.
Yeah.
And that's something I feel like a beginner maybe wouldn't know, because it took me a second to get that, but it also could be that I was tired.
Could be. That's why I like Isabel Kramer, because she's specific about her short rows.
Well, no, the short rows were clear. This is the color work charting for like the
I haven't done a color work in a pullover yet, so
this is.
I'm letting you get through them, and that way I can decide if I want to do Caitlin Hunter, if I want to do Joji Locatelli, if I'm going to stick with Isabel Kramer, because she's got some pretty ones, or if I really want to dive and do Jennifer Steingass.
Oh, Jennifer Steingass. That's like a lot.
I know. And it's a lot of fingering weight, which is what's keeping me from doing a color work pullover, because it just takes 9 years. And we see Michelle in her whips.
That also take 9 years.
That also take 9 years.
I have no room to talk because I've been dating, it'll be 5 years in October, and I have a whip that's about to turn 3 this year. So
yeah, well, I've still beat you. That was that many years, and that one was this many.
I know what I'm saying. Out of 5 years, I have one that's been sitting for 3, so that's not a good track record for me either.
I still have the mosaic from Lisa Haynes that I did work on that, so I've only got like a few more rows left to go, and then I'll be to the top end of that chart. So
before we move on really quick, Jennifer Steingass, if you don't know, is a wonderful designer. Her colorwork sweaters are, I don't know if I want to say infamous, but they're definitely
long.
So like she doesn't just do like a little motif here. Like my halibut, I'll have my halibut here and then it's plain. Hers is the full sweater.
Sometimes it is. Sometimes it cuts, here, or it'll cut at the sleeve.
But they're very
separation,
intricate designs. Her pieces are all like showstoppers. Like they really are. She designs those intricate.
There's one called Renaissance, but it's by a completely different designer that I've had my eye staring at for some months now, and I may go on and do it. It's a process. Don't forget, I have resigned myself to the fact that I am a process knitter, not a product knitter. I love the process of knitting. I love the process of sitting down for 5 hours and working on a color work hat or doing mosaics. Those are the things that I love to do, and I love cables. So I never get anything done, but I love the process of working on them. So I'm a process knitter.
And I think I'm a product knitter.
You are.
I'm like, let
Lord.
me pop out all of these projects.
You and Ramona both.
Yeah.
Very much so product knitters. So while we've been discussing whips and things that we're working on, these are not yarn. They're yarn related, but they're not yarn.
They are beautiful.
These, and I'm sorry I don't have the straps in yet. I was working on those late last night. These are the bags that are going to be not only in the store, not necessarily this one, but this style of bags. These took a little bit longer because these were made from a charm pack.
Those are
so
cute.
Aren't they adorable? They're like little patchwork bags. It's got pockets inside. I've got 4 of these done.
And this is the same fabric line that my quilt was made out of.
This was a layer cake, and I've got a whole bunch more back there cut out for these bags. I love these.
I
these
do too.
So
of course, I also have a little bias because I love that fabric too. But they're wonderful. And
There's the other one.
Oh, does that not scream spring and summer?
I know, right? Now this one is completely, these are my normal. This one, I recycled from, I bought a pair of floppy boho style overalls when we were down in the quarter this summer.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out they are way too small.
Uh-oh.
And of course they didn't have a place for me to try them on.
Right.
So I bought it really going, I wonder if it's going to work. And it didn't. So, but what I did was that I brought them into the shop because they'd been hanging in the closet, taking up space. I brought them into the store and I cut them apart as far as the fabric was already sewn together. All I did was cut it down and I crazy quilted. I found a bunch of different stitches on my sewing machine, and we've got swirlies here, we've got stars here, there's hearts over on this side here.
But it fits with the fabric too.
It really does
fits
fit
the
the
vibe.
fabric, yeah. So I've got leaves down here that I sewn, and I had enough of the fabric that I could make 2 of these bags. And these are my 9.5 by...
Ooh, the inside's pretty. Look at that. I like that fabric.
This will fit a shawl. These fit a full pair of socks plus the yarn. You could put a cowl in it.
Yes.
You could put just about anything in it. So
Yeah.
these,
Even maybe a baby sweater.
you could put a baby sweater in here. Not necessarily your baby sweater, but
Yes,
anybody's baby sweater.
I have a friend who's having a baby this year, and
Yes.
so I'm going to make her a baby sweater, just for context of clarifying that it's not my baby.
Not Hannah's baby. No, Hannah's not having a baby. All right, now, are you done with your rips?
I have one more.
Okay, well, you go because I got 2 more after you.
You want to do one more, and then I'll do one more, and then...
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's do the big one. I am almost to the sleeve separation. I'm getting tired. I'm sorry.
It is 9:03 in the morning.
I've been up since 3:30. So, all right, we're almost to the sleeves.
Yay.
And
This looks...
for clarification, Michelle can't read. Buried on page 6 was the stitch counts. Sleeve stitch counts back and front. So, I'm really sorry.
Stephen West, we're sorry you did put it in your pattern.
Yes, you did. Buried on page 6. But it was there. And now I can fix the slight number error that Michelle somehow had. And we're almost to the sleeves. Yes.
Yay.
Finally. Woohoo.
Okay. So this is in a project bag that I got for Christmas.
That's a yarn ball bag. But it fits. What's in it?
What do we think Hannah's going to put in this kind of bag?
Socks.
So if you look at the bingo board, if you look down, I'm going to pull up an iPad version of this so Michelle can see what
Is
I'm
that the
talking
full pair or just one?
about. It's, well, it's technically one. So if you look, right, there's my instant crush.
Oh, look
So
at
there's a
you.
lady. This is my last one that I need for the bingo for that column, and it's the center column, which is perfect. Like, strategy couldn't have played out better.
Yeah, because the free space in the middle, so you got
Well, I
lucky
used the
there.
free space though. That
Yeah.
was my hat. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I have knit
Oh,
all
that's
these
right.
things.
Okay.
I have.
Okay.
So, and then if like my bingo board's playing out really well this year, I'm very excited about this.
You've got socks and socks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Should be 12 total.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yep, 10 socks on the bingo board. But you knit fast, so those will
Well,
be done.
I knit.
Is this like a whole year thing? Okay.
Yeah, this is for the whole year. These are still slightly damp. This is Wool Market Fibers alpaca sock in the colorway Winter Wonderland. I am doing the Thursday night pattern by Sock Witchery, and these are socks for a lady at my church.
Those look so squishy.
So she theoretically has the same size foot as me, but I don't know if she likes her socks like tight or loose. So I did this ribbed pattern. I also went, even though this is it's like a 70-30 on this for alpaca, I looked at the yardage and it said like $3.90 something per, let me just look at,
I would go look, but I don't have that.
It's
here.
398 yards per 100 grams. So I figured that this was going to plump up a little more. So I went ahead and went down to a 00, which is what I usually do for an 80-20, but I've never worked with the alpaca sock yet. Like, not in a sock. I use the alpaca sock for the white in my alpine blue.
Yeah. But that was different. That's a sweater.
Right.
And you don't want the socks too loose that they're going to fall down anyway.
Right.
So.
And I know she sometimes wears multiple pairs of socks because she has poor circulation. So she gets very, very cold. Like, sometimes has to wear like mittens indoors and stuff, kind of cold. So these are still damp because I was going to go ahead and block them to kind of test out and see what we're looking like here. So I'm about halfway down the leg. They're very soft and fuzzy. I'm kind of jealous now, but I'm going to give them away still. And maybe I do have another skein of alpaca sock. I actually have 2 skeins because you gave me the shawl set with pop rocks. So I was thinking actually the pop rocks that I have has a little more pink in it.
Oh, switch them.
So switch them out so that it blends better with the shawl.
Yeah.
And then use the other skein of pop rocks for socks.
That'll work.
So it actually worked out really well. And then I still get to have nice fuzzy alpaca socks.
There you go.
So, but this will be the last, this will be square number 7 for the bingo board. So
nice. You go, girl.
we'll
Good
see.
job.
So this is like I'm in the car. My poor husband, I was like, when I had finished the Wicked Witch socks, I was determined that I was not going to cast anything else on until I finished this because I already had the halibut and I knew I was going to want to work on the instant crush. I was like, I need to get these done. I don't need to just go off and knit all the socks. I need to do this stuff.
I can't have a project for car knitting that's something I have to concentrate on.
Well, I couldn't either, which is why I didn't have car knitting and I was going crazy.
Yeah.
But he agreed with me that I needed to not cast things on. So I finished this sweater Monday night. Tuesday morning we were winding this yarn. He was off on Tuesday
That is so
and he
funny.
drove he always wants to drive anyway, and I was fine. And so literally I had almost finished the whole cuff with us just going back and forth around town.
That's funny.
And that was with me having a bad cast on and having to recast it on again. Like I needed to get that out of my system. I just needed to knit a sock. Like and so when my hands will get sore from the color work, I just pop 10 rows of my sock, you know? And so it's been very nice.
Usually I'm the opposite because my hands get tired from sock knitting.
Well,
that I'm going to something that my hands have to be loose with, which is the color
Right.
work.
Mine is the throwing stuff. But hello. All the chimes are out here. Yeah, my hands get sore, especially when I'm on the 00s like this, but I haven't been doing it for long enough in a stretch for it to get tired. So it's just my little side thing. It'll just kind of go on in the background amongst the sweaters.
You're almost there.
Yep, and then I get to draw my first prize.
Good. Well, this one's almost done. I worked on this as soon as I figured out that I hadn't started the decreases yet. That took a minute because I didn't. One would think that when I tell people all day long, take notes, take notes, take notes, you'd think I would learn from that, but I don't. Apparently not, because I pulled this out, which is the Fir Rib from Stephen West. This is in the colorway The Abbey.
Very beautiful.
Very gorgeous. Got some greens and some really pretty bluey purples and a little bit of blue thrown in. This is the Fir Rib. So I'm looking at the directions and I'm thinking, oh, I can't make hides or tails of where I left off at, and come to find out it's because I hadn't started the decrease section yet. So once I figured that out, then I was well on my way. I have a couple of more sections to go and this will be done.
Yay!
So I may have to put everything else aside, not the bags. The bags have to come
You need
first.
to finish the hat and then you finish this.
Well, I was hoping to have this done for Dixon, Tennessee.
Okay, that's fair.
So here we are. This is what happens. This is why nothing I want for me gets done, because we've got shows to do, Christmas, which I've already started Christmas knitting, and for other people. So my stuff always gets put off to the wayside.
Yep. And that's kind of where I've been too, is like how many whips I have sitting around is because that stuff is for me, and then the stuff that's for other people gets
Do
pushed.
I want to work on it? Don't I want to work on it? Well, I want to keep it, but not now. So what I really have been doing since after the end of the year is I have gone through and I have purged a lot. It doesn't mean that I've whittled it down a lot. I really haven't. But
that's
I filled
better
my
than nothing.
needle bag back up because now I can't close them. I can't close the zippered pouches. They're so slap full.
That is something I'm going to have to figure out, because my yarn space is not.
Yeah, you don't have this. I don't either. I lost my sewing room. So I have to do most of everything I do here at work, which is why I pulled out Grandma Edna, my Francis featherweight, and has every one of these bags except for this one, every one of these bigger other bags have been done on my featherweight.
Wow.
I'm excited.
I love her featherweight. It's so cool. But yeah, I talked to Grant, and Grant's my husband. I talked to him, and I kind of convinced him. I saw this lady in her house had like those kind of shelving, like this, with the hooks and stuff.
Oh, the slat board.
For her yarn and her needles. And I was
Yes.
like, I want that. And I'm like, then I just walk into the yarn store of my home. And then I just pick it up, like, oh, what do I want today? I've seen people call it a yarn pantry.
Huh.
That it's like very great, like they have their pantry and they just, okay, what can I whip up out of my pantry today? And I'm like, I kind of like this. This could be a move.
It could be.
I definitely need to go through. I'm trying to be gentle with this. I'm still kind of afraid of it ripping because there's some spots that I know the yarn is super thin. We'll see. It did fluff up a good bit when I washed it. That did help. I'm gonna have to go through my needles because I have so many project bags with random needles just laying everywhere, and I've been trying to organize them, and I had them in a good state before I got married, and that has very much so gone out the window. So
the life of being married.
Not having a yarn room.
Yeah.
I didn't have a yarn room before I got married, so it's not like I've downgraded. I just haven't upgraded yet.
No upgrading to that. I downgraded. When the folks moved in, we lost a guest room and I lost my sewing room.
They wouldn't change it, but
no.
But
I love having my parents there. My mom and stepdad. Sorry, let's clarify that.
Can we talk about these?
You can.
Okay, so I've been looking at these for a while, and then she just walks in and hands them to me, and I'm like, "Ooh, I get to see them in person now."
Okay, so for context, I just ordered those and they just came in.
These are Chalgu Fortes, and if you don't know, so Chalgu does my favorite needles. They do the red lace.
They do the bamboo.
Mm-hmm. Their needles just have the best cord to me. So the join from where your stitch slips off from this tip to the cord is the smoothest to me on Chalgu. And the points aren't ever the sharpest, but they always seem sharp enough for what I need for the most part.
This is a size 6.
Yes, this is a US 6 4mm. This is they do interchangeable sets. These are interchangeable tips.
I have not seen any in fixed yet. These are fairly new to the company. They're more expensive than the red lace interchangeable sets or the bamboo sets. So I'm sorry.
No,
so I only ordered just a set of 6 because I use 6 a lot. And then the 22-inch cord, because I use that size cord, the length a lot.
Interesting.
So I needed another workhorse to try out the needles, and I got the swivels, the 360 swivels. I'm going to take those off and put them onto the red cords to make sure that they'll fit the red cords. Because people are asking, if I buy this, will this work? And yes, they will, but I want to triple check to be sure that you can put the Fortes on the red cables and they'll work.
So what makes the Fortes special is that they're carbon fiber. And this is something I actually had talked to my husband about this winter. When you're knitting, so bamboo needles, because they're wood, they have a little more grip to them, which is good depending on what you're knitting. Metal needles are smooth, they slip really fast, which can be good depending on what you're knitting.
Yeah.
Carbon fiber is kind of that in between because it has the movement of metal. You can go fast and it still has the metal tip, but this part, the carbon fiber, does not get cold. That sometimes when I'm knitting in the winter, my hands get cold because I'm using metal needles.
Yeah.
Even if I'm holding those needles, it's still, they're never getting warm enough to warm my hands up too.
Yeah.
So my hands will start hurting because the needles are metal.
Now, I've tried the carbons before. Collage had them out years ago. So I've used them before. They're nice. They're stiff enough like the metal or the aluminum, but they do have a slight, you know, if you're, for me in sock knitting, these are not where, like if I was really a tight knitter, these will not bend.
Yeah.
Now I've used I gave Miss Judy Ownby the sock size double pointed needles that I had that are carbons. And they're very similar to those where they have the metal tip, but then they have the black body, and they're stiff but pliable. Yeah. To where, because I'm a tight knitter for socks, so I can, my double points they're slightly bowed because I'm gripping too hard. Those won't do that.
I've bent some metal needles.
Yeah. Those, if you try to, you know, if you're knitting with them, they're stiff. So.
And these are a 5-inch, so they only come in 5-inch, which is good because I've thought about ChowGoo interchangeables, but I use their fixed so much. But I think the carbon fiber only comes in interchangeable. So
for right now,
I think it'll probably always just be interchangeable, because if it is a more premium thing, it makes sense to offer it piecemeal like this instead of having to mass. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
instead of mass producing something.
You can get them. You could get the full set, but you're looking at a car payment.
Yeah.
For those.
Right.
So,
this is an investment piece. Like if you were committed that I'm going to use this forever.
And try, just, you know, call in and order, special order the workhorse size that you always would use to try them out, which is what I do, to see if I'm gonna like them.
I wonder if I could grab these and grab a 4 for because I have a bunch of shawls and stuff that are on US 4s, and I could just use the 4s and then go from there. Yeah. And I always I know I would need more than one set of 4s.
I prefer the 4-inch, but you know, if that's all they have is the 5-inch tips, then that's fine.
And I prefer the 5-inch, so I'm good. But I like having that extra room to grip. Yeah. You know, so anyway, these are cool.
Exciting. I'm gonna.
This is, I mean, a bougie purchase.
That'll go with your bougie sweater.
Yes. This is, I mean, truthfully, like, and I could imagine too if you lived in a colder climate, because I know like January trying to knit those socks.
People with hand issues, I think, will like those.
Right. And for me, just, I mean, I remember my hands hurting last month horribly, wanting to knit, and it would just hurt, even though I wasn't cold. My hands were cold from those needles. Yeah. Even if I was inside.
I think that the carbon body to them, they're warm enough. And I've heard people talk about that these are warm. Yeah. And you don't have that issue if you've got hand problems, you know, like you said, with warmth and stuff. Right. These stay pretty warm. But the tips are nice. It's a nice aluminum. There's no obvious shift from the tip to the shaft in this area here. And they are stamped on this end and the top end as to what it is. So this will say 6, but this says 4 millimeter.
And it also, ChowGoo does a different system for their cables. So they have like small cables and large cables. So it's also marked here too.
They have many small.
It has like an S. I don't know if you can see that. Did I line right there? There should be like a little S. I don't think you can see. I don't know, but there's an S there. So like, hey, you have to use a small cable for this. Yes. But, and that's an extra step that a lot of interchangeable sets don't do. But I will say ChowGoo also has the smoothest join.
Them and Haya. Haya has got the smoothest, and I've used a lot of brands of needles. I'm a needle hoarder. I'm a hook hoarder. kind of like a project hoarder. So I have a lot of brands of different needles and hooks, and Haya and the Chow Goose are the two top that I prefer. If you're saving money, then Knitter's Pride or Knit Picks, but which those interchange with each other, so which is nice about
and I have the Knit Picks interchangeable set, and it's been good. Just my personal preference has always been Chow Goose.
Yeah, because the cables.
Yeah,
that's my
and as
thing.
a sock knitter, like I tried the Knit Picks, not Knit Picks, maybe.
I don't like their cables.
And
not
that was
for socks.
Right, when you're trying to, especially if you're magic looping and you're going across that join so many times in a project.
The Haya and the Chow Goose.
So, just a thought if you're interested. But thank you for coming to our rambling today.
I had a lot.
It's nice to be back. I'm hoping that next time I talk to you guys, I'll have a halibut, like at least the color work chart complete.
We'll try to have something actually finished. I did, and we didn't notice.
Okay, you have to talk about this.
Okay, remember last time we talked about the shawl, and I said, I bet you by the next filming that I would be done with the shawl and it's going to be hanging up. It's right there. It's back there. There it is. There it is. So it's done.
Yay.
This is Moonraker by Melanie Berg. Ta-da!
You might have to say that again.
There we go. Moonraker by Melanie Berg.
Yay.
And it is finished.
It is
gorgeous. It's big. It's long. You're gonna have to go that way. There we go.
I mean, this is this is insanity.
Yeah,
but
I think I measured
soft.
like almost 80 across this here.
Your wool wash smells good.
My what?
Whatever your wool wash is on this smells good.
Does it? Yeah, it does. It smells good, huh?
Sorry, just while it was here. But it is gorgeous. This is all Wool Market Fibers, right?
Yep, all Wool Market Fibers minis in the teal and the navy, except for the platinum and the dark gray. And this is a one and done. Michelle's not doing another one.
Yay.
Absolute. So there we are. So I did have something finished. Woo. All right.
So, again, thank you for 100 subscribers. Thank you for being here, enjoying our ramblings, letting us talk about all the things we're excited about with our knitting. I'm excited for new things on the channel. I guess I'm gonna announce something. So, my next behind the scenes project, I've been hinting at it for a while. So, it's had a little bit of a shift in name change and stuff, but what we're gonna do, it's a sock class online called Knit Socks That Fit the HKC Way. And Michelle can tell you, I have a different methodology for how I fit my socks, but I also have never had anybody say their socks don't fit.
That's true.
Knock on wood.
That's true. And hopefully I'll have some really good, important news.
Yeah, yes, very soon. So lots of exciting things coming.
Yeah, I can't tell you yet because it's not a done deal.
Yes, but I know what she's talking about and you're going to be excited. So,
yeah,
stay tuned.
You may think so.
Oh no, there's more. There's more.
There's a hitch in that get along.
Oh no, okay. So, well, anyway, so if you're excited about sock knitting, I'm literally probably going to start filming for that within the next week or two.
Yes.
I've been starting the pattern writing and stuff. There's going to be a pattern release, and of course that breaks everything down. So if you're not able to go purchase the pattern, there's still going to be some good information for you. But if you're able to purchase the pattern, there's going to be some cool tools.
And don't forget that there's still a sock class that's scheduled for, I think, this month or next.
Yes, if you want to come in person.
If you need to come in, so.
Yes, and if you come in person too, you'll definitely have access to all of those tools as well. So, anyway, thank you for watching. Don't forget to comment so you can win Wool Market Fibers yarn.
You've got some yarn to win.
Yes. one skein of your choice.
Absolutely.
So we'll see you in a couple weeks. Bye, y'all.
Bye.